So E3 happened.
Hello, Pokejar. My name is King Pickle, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be doing a discussion, massive, jumbo, humongo-sized discussion of everything that was talked about at E3, going through all the major press conferences. We're not going to be talking about, like, Gearbox, or Capcom, or I didn't even watch Bandai Namco. We're talking about stuff that matters. Alright, and the first presentation that was made was Summer Game Fest. So good old Jeff Keighley coming out here, with his take on E3, doing his thing. And honestly, I really enjoyed this event. I thought it brought a lot of the flair in the presentation that E3 is. I think the thing that a lot of people forget about is that E3 is a show. I want it to be entertaining. Jeff Keighley, I mean, everything that Jeff himself could control, he knocked it out of the park. But let's get into the game selection. First up is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I had to double check, see if there's the actual name of the game. It is. It's like a fantasy, mythical sort of take on Borderlands, like a looting shooter with magic and like dragons, and someone's voiced by Andy Samberg. It looks pretty fun. I might not pick it up, but hey, if Borderlands is your thing, you might want to check this out. Next up revealed was actually a game I am very excited about, being called Metal Slug Tactics. It'll be a tactical RPG, or tactical, 2D tactical, grid-based kind of game, starring the characters from Metal Slug. And I mean, I have never played a Metal Slug game, but it's always looked interesting, and I appreciate trying to branch the IP out into different styles of games, because maybe not everyone's into 2D shooters. I'm not really that big into the Contra style of games. So yeah, this is really cool. I'll definitely be checking this one out. Next up, we got an interview with Kojima, which was cool. He name-dropped 9/11. Don't know why. And when Jeff asked him, hey, any information or any new games coming out? And Kojima was like, yeah, nothing quite yet, but I like to, tackle a social issue or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you do that every game, Kojima. I didn't need you to tell me that. But who cares about ooey gooey Kojima? Because Jeff Goldblum came out, and he did the Jeff Goldblum thing, and he announced a new Jurassic Park's, I guess, sim game is a sequel, and it's kind of cool because it's not every day you see a sequel to a licensed game. So I thought that was interesting. Next up is Sable. This looks like a really fun adventure game, indie game. It looks like it has a lot of great lighting and animation, and I think they had some orchestra or something playing in the background, like on live, and there's like splitting between that and gameplay. I think that if you're gonna have musical performances at E3, that's kind of how you do it. Match it up with a game. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. And then next up was just some like Japanese MMO. I feel like every year at E3 I learn about a new Japanese MMO that's coming to America that apparently has like 12 billion people playing on it, 2 of which are from anywhere outside of Japan. So that's cool, I guess. Solar Ash was another game they talked about, and it looks dope. It looks like a ninja cyborg, or cyberpunk, or not cyberpunk, but like ninja cyborg kind of, Shadow of the Colossus almost looking like. That's definitely going to be a game going check out. We got another look at Chivalry 2, which was a game that was shown off at a lot of press conferences, and doesn't get me to be interested in Chivalry 2, but you know what, if that's your thing, go ahead. They revealed this indie game called 2 Point Campus, which is like a Sims game, but for a college. Looks bad. It looks like a bad mobile game. I know I'm out here with the hot takes. I'm out here with the controversial 2 Point Campus takes, We got Fast and Furious DLC, or Fast and Furious, I guess, skins for Rocket League, which is kind of funny. I don't know why I included that in my notes. I just thought it was kind of funny. Overwatch 2, they talked about for a bit. It's gonna be 5v5, and they just showed off some skins, so why were you here? There's a new Dungeons and Dragons game that looks okay, but hey, they had Hannibal Buress playing the game, and they had a WWE superstar Ember Moon. So that made me go, hey, I know those people. I like those people. But still not gonna get me to buy the game, but hey, it was pretty cool seeing them show up at E3. New Monster Hunter spinoff coming out, and it's gonna be a JRPG, but with the Monster Hunter, characters. Don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, it makes sense. I do really like the monster designs, and now that I've actually played Monster Hunter Rise, it's cool to see these iconic, not iconic, but like these recognizable, like, characters, or models, whatever, monsters, just like in a different setting. And it's just cool to be like, hey, I know that guy. This is how Monster Hunter fans feel, apparently. It's pretty cool. Then we got a concert by the band Weezer. Really unnecessary. Don't know why there's that E3, but the music was alright. It was pretty good. Endless Dungeons is another game. It is a team-based defense game, kind of like a defend the base kind of game. And and I can't tell whether or not it looks really good or really bad. So I'm just gonna give it a solid, it looks fine, which is gonna be a phrase you're gonna hear a lot during this press conference. Then we just got, like, a quick wheel of just random new stuff coming in old games, Genshin Impact and Fall Guys were in there. And then this is, like, one of the bigger things they're looking at. Back 4 Blood looks like the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, but, it's also coming out for $60, and trying to convince multiple people to buy a game that's $60 that isn't Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart or Halo is pretty tough. So, sadly, I might not get the opportunity to play this game, because who wants to play a Left 4 Dead game alone? That just sounds terrible. Next up is Tunic. It looks like a really charming, like, fox, but it looks like a 2D Zelda game. And it looks good. I like it. And then the big thing they're showing off, the thing that I guess a lot of people thought was, like, the best thing shown off at E3, which I don't agree with, but whatever, was Elden Ring, the new game being shown off by id Software. Same guys make Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, all that jazz. It looks like another game from id Software. That's it. Here's the thing. I hate Souls games. I think making a game difficult just because it's cheap being difficult doesn't make your game good. And I also just think the aesthetic is it's just boring. A boring aesthetic. Everything just muddy and gray and doesn't look... Even when people were like, oh, look how good Demon Souls look. It's like, it looks gross to me. I don't know, man. I'm not saying every game has to be super cartoony and stuff, but, like, just looks boring. And, like, the movement has always been clunky, and just throwing in RPG elements I don't think really vibe with the game. It's just not for me. But for people who like those kinds of games, it looks alright. If only the characters didn't move like a goddamn tortoise. It feels like controlling a Souls game feels like you have that one crappy off-brand N64 controller, and then you're controlling like a slippery tortoise. It just feels really imprecise, and I don't like it. But whatever, that was a Summer Game Fest. Honestly, really enjoyed it. I thought I could use a few more big titles. Probably could have shortened the length a little bit, but I'll give it a B. Yeah, a B sounds alright. And then next up comes this biggest sleeper hit of the weekend, Attack of the Devs, or Day of the Devs, sorry. It was just showing off, like, at E3, there's a whole lot of press conferences that were just showing off indie games. I'm perfectly fine with that, but I feel like a lot of those kinds of conferences, everything just mulls together, because there's not one thing you can spend, like, an entire 15 minutes showing off and then talking about with your friends afterwards. So I feel like a lot of time it's just a lot of things that look cool, but I'll forget them a few days later. But the Day of the Devs knocked it out of the park. So first off, we got Axiom Verge 2, which looks like to be the next big indie Metroidvania. It looks good. I might pick it up. Garden Story also just looks so charming. It just looks good. It looks happy and nice, okay? Soup Pot is a chill cooking simulator. If this game was for, like, $5, I'd probably get it. But it's probably gonna be for, like, 15, so I'm good. A Musical Story is, like, a really surreal kind of, it's just a really surreal, looking rhythm game. That looks really cool. But honestly, if there's a rhythm game at Day of the Devs that I liked the most, it's probably Unbeatable. It looks like some freaking anime style people fighting in the background, kind of like rhythm game. That's what I want to see in a rhythm game. The Wandering Village also looks good. It looks to bring the kind of like Civilization, I guess, RTS style of game. Try and bring some like style and actually like good presentation. Because I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I think of RTS games or Civilization games, graphics are not one of the top things I think of. I don't know. They always just when I think about that genre, I just think of like old '90s PC games, you know. So, whatever. Where are we in my notes? Behind the Frame looks like a cool game. It looks like it has a beautiful art style, but I don't think they really properly showed off what the game actually is, so I don't think I'll be picking this one up. Moonglow Bay is a narrative-based indie fishing RPG, which is such a cool idea. I don't know why, but there's just something simple about and fun about fishing in video games that just makes my goblin brain go, whoa! Best part about Animal Crossing, best part about Minecraft, I'm just saying. So yeah, having an indie fishing RPG, that's just such a neat and cool idea. And then the last game I want to talk about from Day of the Devs was Loot River. This is cool. It's a game where you control different platforms that you're on, and like move the platforms around almost like Tetris. But instead of just lining up things, it's to avoid and escape enemies. It looks really cool. It looks like a really neat game. And honestly, Attack the Day of the Devs had so much cool stuff. I think I'm gonna put an A tier. I think I'm feeling a decent low A tier. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. So next up is next up is one of the big boys. You know, Summer Game Fest isn't like technically part of E3, but it is. So, first of the big boys and first of the things that I actually live streamed playlist will, if you where can you find my live reactions? Oh yeah, link in the description to my secondary channel where you can find a playlist where I've re-uploaded the VODs. If you want to look at my live reactions to Ubisoft, Devolver, Square Enix, Xbox, and Nintendo. So Ubisoft comes out and they present Rainbow Six Siege Expansion Pass. They can't do quarantine. They can't do the quarantine idea, which I think they showed off in 2019 for obvious reasons. So instead they make it about aliens. And it looks fine, but they spent like way too long talking about it. So whatever. And then they showed off like some music like social platform, almost like a music teaching tool. It looks like that, but I don't know why that was at a video game press conference. Next up is Wide Republic, which looks really fun. I've always enjoyed my sports games more arcadey, and so is like as first person like bike riding and like snowboarding and hang gliding and I think like freaking rocket shit. It looks cool. That's all I really have to say. It just looks like a cool game. The one thing that I want this game to have, and I don't think it will, but I think it'd be amazing because it's a massive multiplayer game where you have all these people running around. Give me proximity chat. Proximity chat is the greatest invention in all of multiplayer video games. The idea of riding past a guy on a hill, saying something like dumb as shit. I don't know. The anonymity of the internet plus silly video games is just perfect combination. More content for Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor, Valhalla, The Crew 2, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is kind of indicative in this is the first time Assassin's Creed has gotten content and support past year 2. So I think it's very indicative of the direction Square Enix is going with their company and how they go about doing their gaming business. Is that they're much, and it's kind of like Microsoft, where they're much more focused on games as a service. It reminds me of this one interview someone had with Todd Howard, where Todd Howard expressed that he was mad that people have been paying, that people have been playing Elder Scrolls for 10 years, Skyrim for 10 years, yet they're not still paying them because they got the one-time money and then they keep on playing it. So it definitely looks like they're going into more expansion passes and DLC and stuff like that, microtransactions, which I am not necessarily against. The problem is the base game worth $60? Does it have enough content to be worth $60? Like, say, the Final Fantasy VII remake. Yes? Okay, then I'm all down to pay $20 for an expansion pass to get some extra cool stuff and to play more at game. I don't think you need to make a completely new game just to give people more of that original, kind of game. So that's my take on DLC. As long as the base game is worth it, and you're not charging way too much, and you're not having day one DLC, because that's just gross. I'm completely fine with it. They showed off Just Dance, sadly no Wii version, have to get the meme out of the way. Don't know why I prayed to God over Just Dance for the Wii. Should I like apologize? Sorry, I don't fucking know. Got some Far Cry 6 like cool story stuff. I think Ubisoft knows that the thing people care about Far Cry when it comes to stories is just the villain, because they tend to be really cool. He looks like a cool villain. I think the voice actor is like some big time voice actor. But the problem with this is that the models don't look good. We watched the trailer. The models don't. It's weird because the environments and everything around the models in Far Cry 6 look great. They look like a AAA game. But then, like, the models, they just look like early PS4, late PS3 era kind of models. I don't know. It was kind of off-putting for me. And then the big new game, Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. Whoa! I didn't think this game was gonna get a sequel. Which I'm super excited about. I think it's still one of my top 5 Switch games. I freaking love the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And this looks like it's actually improving upon the concept. It's adding in more real-time action elements. You don't have to, like, plan out when you do the dash attack. You can just do it. And just, in general, environments seem to be more open. And it's still turn-based, which I like. I like the turn-based combat, but it's a lot less grid-based. It feels like an actual battlefield now, from the 2 seconds of gameplay they've shown. And you can pick up on mobs. It just looks really cool. And it's going into the space theme, which Mario plus space always means something really cool. So yeah, that's a really dope announcement. And then they hit us with a new Avatar game. So I get there's a new movie coming out. But why? Who cares about Avatar? Like, I get, obviously, the technology and the Disney ride are great, but who cares about, like, the storyline and the environment? Okay, I will admit, Pandora is a very cool place when it comes to movie settings. But, like, who cares about the story or the characters enough to buy a video game. I don't know, man. Ubisoft was fine. I'll give them a C, C minus. They came out, they knew what they showed their stuff. I wish it was a little bit shorter, but whatever. Next up is Devolver Digital, and right off the gate, they hit us with these, like, wacky, loony skits and, like, sketches, and at first it didn't work on me, but I don't know, I think they're pretty endearing. I thought it was cute. Devolver Digital knows that they're just here to, they're like, let's just have fun, guys. Like, we're just here to have fun. And they still showed off some really cool games. Shadow Warrior 3 has the potential of being one of the best Doom games of all time. It looks a lot like Doom, but I like Doom, so and this seems to hopefully this will just be a cheaper Doom. I don't know if it's gonna be $60. Hopefully not. But yeah, Trek to Yomi, Yomi, Y-O-M-I. It looks really cool. It looks like a really cool action game, and it's, at least from the trailer, it looks like it's being made in, like, this black and white, old-timey Japanese film look. And it's a cool samurai game. Dope. Looks good. Phantom Abyss also looks like fun. It's, I think it's a procedurally generated kind of 3D Mirror's Edge, like, obstacle course. Could be cool. Wizard with a Gun is a neat-looking, Enter the Gungeon, kind of game. Has a really cool art style. Hopefully it won't be too similar to games like Enter the Gungeon, but it kind of looks like it could just be a worse version of that game, but hopefully it can find its own style. Death's Door. It looks okay, but again, it kind of looks like a worse version of Hades. That's kind of the theme I've been getting at throughout Devolver Digital. Good, cool-looking games, but it kind of seems like there's better options out there. Inscription looks like a interesting indie card game. Not a big card game fan, but it looks cool. And then finally we show off Demon Throttle, which is getting a physical Switch release. And it looks like a retro 8-bit style shooter. And honestly, it's really good. Sounds like I was talking very down about Devolver Digital, but honestly, they showed off a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna give them a B. I wrote down notes for Gearbox. There's nothing here. I think it was funny that they revealed the same game. I think it was either 4 or 3 separate times. I get that you want to have that game be like a theme throughout the whole press conference, but it's kind of funny when they're like, oh, and here's one more thing, and it's a game that you announced at the beginning of the press conference. What F, I guess. And then next up on Sunday, we got the Xbox Plus Bethesda. I'm just gonna call it Xbox. It's just Xbox now. Press conference, and let's just jump into it. Starfield Cinematic. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be in space. That's all this revealed, and that was the thing we kind of assumed. And it's getting a release date of November 2022. Don't give a release date when it's over a year out. That doesn't make sense to me. You still have a year of, like, development. You don't know how, I don't know. Stalker 2 looks alright, but kind of seems like a bland horror first-person shooter. Contraband is a new game from the guys behind Just Cause. Just got a cinematic. Stop doing cinematics when it's a new IP. Like a cinematic for Breath of the Wild 2. It's like, oh, it's Zelda. We know what Zelda is. It's cool that we're getting a new Zelda game. This is just, this and Contraband and Starfield. It's like, okay, cool, but why should I care? Other than the fact that it's made by people who have made games that I like before. I don't get it. Pirates of the Caribbean is getting a cross Sea of Thieves kind of thing. Looks cool. It's neat that they're still supporting Sea of Thieves. Gameplay for Battlefield 2042. This game looks great. I'm not really upset that they're not having any single player like a lot of people are. It's Battlefield. I'm not gonna play a single player in that game. But yeah, it just looks like, from what I've seen about the previous Battlefield games, is that it's always seemed like a fun, hectic shooter, but it didn't feel like, it felt like it could go another step, you know, because outside of the occasional, oh, cool, wacky tank thing, or like a flying tank or whatever, outside of once in a while, cool little wacky thing like that, it seems like it's kind of just a standard FPS. franchise, but then this just looks crazy. I don't know if it's just the trailer's really well made, but people are flying through hurricanes, jumping onto platforms, blowing crap. It looks cool. I think I might get this one out. More Psychonauts 2 footage with an August release date. Cool, but I think we already know a lot about this game, so it looks good. I don't think I'm gonna spend $60 on it, but it still looks good. Updates for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, which is cool for people who still play those games, which is probably like 7. I'll guess 8. I'll be fair and guess 8 people who still play those games. Party Animals looks like a really fun spiritual successor to Gang Beasts, but it's also already out on PC, which, if this was for like a big game, I think I'd be upset about, being the E3 one's already out. But this is an indie game that I've literally just learned of a couple days ago, so yeah, I'm fine with it. Somerville looks like a neat game, like Inside or Limbo, but hopefully this has more meat when it comes to gameplay, which I don't think Inside and Limbo, I think they fell flat when it came to actual like gameplay. Next up is Halo Infinite, the multiplayer. Well, first off, we got a cool little cinematic for single player, where Cortana, the Alexa lady, was gone. And then they talked about the multiplayer, which looks really cool. Just looks like more Halo. Halo's fun. And it's gonna be free. A thing just fell off my shelf. And it's gonna be free. Hopefully by then I'll have a PC that, like, can run more than Minecraft. Games more powerful than Minecraft. But a free Halo, I mean, obviously gonna have microtransactions, but I don't care. That's Halo multiplayer free, which is insane to me. Diablo 2 is getting a remake. Cool. Far Cry 6 gameplay. It looks like Far Cry. Hopefully they can do something to change up the gameplay, because so far it's kind of been the same since like PS3 games, but I still enjoy it, so I'm kind of in this weird point where I'm like, I'm still gonna like it, but like I'd like for you to do something, change it up a bit. Slime Rancher 2 is cool. I haven't played the first one, but everyone I know who's played the first Slime Rancher said that they really enjoyed it. So I might pick this one up. Didn't show anything that looked too different from the first game, but it looks good, so it's kind of cool that we got that. Shredders looks like a snowboarding game, but after we already saw Riders Republic, which has snowboarding and then also other gameplay styles, I just kind of don't really care. Replace looks like a really cool indie game. The combat and animation is really like smooth, and has really cool weight behind it, and this is dope. I might check this one out. The Ascent looks like an okay top-down action game. So it's fine. I'm filming this Wednesday, which is also the day this video is going up. Wednesday, and this press conference is on Sunday. So I've forgotten about like a lot of the indie games that are kind of forgettable. So Outer Worlds 2, again, this is gonna be the theme of Xbox's press conference. Haven't played the first one, but this is pretty cool. It's kind of weird that this is like a way out from being published, I think, right? I don't even think they showed off a cinematic. I think they were just like, oh yeah, no, a new one's coming out. Forza 5 looks okay. Forza Horizons 5. It looks okay gameplay-wise, but the graphics, I mean, they're really amazing. If there's one thing I'll give simulation-type racing games, it's that they always find a way to make it look beautiful and really use the console's hardware. This is the first, Xbox needs, I think, this kind of game to show off the hardware, because PlayStation got Demon's Souls and then also Ratchet & Clank with the no-load times reality-shifting mechanic, so I think Xbox really needs this. They name-dropped Elder Scrolls 6 and Fable 2 and the new Perfect Dark, which I'm fine with. I like definitely taking off of Nintendo with this one, where it's like, I'm okay if you don't have anything to show. Just at least tell me that it's going fine, and that development is continuing smoothly. Don't leave us in the dark, like with Bayonetta 3, and also Beyond Good and Evil 2. Can we just say that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is cancelled? Like, I think it is. I don't know. I think they'd show it off eventually. Finally, we end the show with a neat-looking co-op vampire shooting game from the guys who made Dishonored. No gameplay. It kind of looks like Deathloop, where it's like the concept's cool, but I don't really know what the game is about. So, Overall, Xbox's press conference was great. I'm going to give it an A-. Or we'll give it a solid A, because Battlefield and Halo and Slime Rancher 2 and Outer Worlds 2 and were placed, and just good stuff. Good stuff from Xbox. I don't think I will be getting an Xbox, because I think Microsoft knows that they're fine with putting their games on PC, because they're still getting money from it, presumably. The Xbox is there to get Microsoft products into consumers' houses, so that's why I think they're perfectly. I don't think it needs to be a dedicated thing. They're not like PlayStation or Nintendo, where they're really banking on their consoles, so they can just throw that out there if you want essentially a physical place to have Game Pass, and they can just let PC users just have Game Pass and Halo and all of their games, which I like, because Xbox for years has been really just trying to go toe-to-toe with PlayStation. Sometimes they succeed, but PlayStation just seems to have better first-person games. But there's two things Xbox does have, and that's Game Pass, and that's an infinite amount of money to just throw at different studios. So yeah, I see. Now I think that the core 3 video games, consoles, they all have different things going on. PlayStation is just your straight down line. We're gonna give you great we're gonna give you great first party games. This is where the third party games are gonna look possibly the best. No load times, great games. Xbox is like, oh, we got this Game Pass, we got this streaming service. You can stream every game you could ever imagine. Look at all this. On your PC or on your Xbox if you want to. If you want to buy an Xbox, go ahead, you can just use the PC. And then Nintendo's out here, like, hey, we got the Switch, it's portable, you can, instant multiplayer, and we got great first-party exclusives, and probably the best multiplayer games in the business. So yeah, Xbox gets an A. Square Enix. So the thing about, we'll talk about it afterwards, but Guardians of the Galaxy looks good. I like the story, so from what we've seen in the story, I like it. I think the gameplay looks a lot better. I like how they're focusing on one playstyle instead of spreading out development to 6 or 5 different playstyles. I think that's cool. And it's definitely going down the Final Fantasy VII Remake route, where you're just sending commands. Wait, no, because Final Fantasy VII you could actually play as different characters. It's a lot like the Kingdom Hearts 3 map, where you're just sending commands to different characters. Hopefully it will be better than Kingdom Hearts 3. And then next up is a classic Final Fantasy, the 1 through 6 games, being remastered in this beautiful pixel art. And it's like, well, but they don't really show any of the graphics or any of the new pixel art, and they have some zoomed out footage, zooming across the screen. And then it's announced that it's coming to Steam and mobile? That's weird. Updates for the Avengers game, and after seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy game, I can definitely see how Guardians has fixed a lot of the problems with Avengers. Avengers looks like a PS3 game to a PS4 game, Then they show off just a whole section of their press conference for mobile games. I'm not completely against mobile games being at E3, you can just throw one in. Go ahead, I don't care. But, having an entire montage, having an entire section of your big, best of the year, press conference just be related to crappy mobile games is kind of bad. I don't like that. Bad. My brain's just saying bad, bad, bad. So, next up we got more information on Babylon Fall. To be fair, it is a Platinum game. They do usually make good stuff. And it's also going to be co-op. But at the same time, this game looks kind of boring. It just doesn't look something. I can't even place it down. It's just something's not clicking with me. I can watch a Bayonetta game or a Astral Chain and be like, oh, okay, that looks good. But something's not clicking with Babylon's Fall for me. New Life is Strange game. It looks pretty good. and we're getting remasters of the first game. I think the empathy power sounds dumb, but I think it can open up some really cool story aspects. Knowing how someone feels deep down could open up some cool story paths. And then finally, we see a new Final Fantasy game from Team Ninja, and it's a third-person action game, and it looks like garbage. Oh no. And it looks bad. The main characters look bad. Everything looks bad. And that's the end of the press conference. So I'm sitting here, wondering where things went wrong. Because let's lay out everything on paper from Square Enix's press conference. New Guardians of the Galaxy game. Remasters of the first 6 Final Fantasy games. More information on Babylon's Fall. A new Final Fantasy spin-off game. New content for Avengers. That looks like the press conference of the year. But it sucked. So I don't know what went wrong there. PC gaming show. I'm just gonna skip over that. I don't want to go over a PC gaming show. And then here comes Nintendo. This is gonna be the conference that's gonna extend this video from 36 minutes to an hour 40, because I got a lot to say. Nintendo freaking killed it. They did great. I think they won. I don't care about who won E3, because these games aren't out yet. We don't know how good they are. For all we know, Square Enix could have won E3. But so far, I think they did the best they should have. The most amount of things that appeal to me personally, Xbox is very close second. So first off, new Smash Bros. Character. It is Tekken Guy. Koizua, Tekken Guy. I think it's cool. I'm perfectly fine with him being in here. I think Tekken getting representation is really nice. Tekken's a big franchise. I don't think people realize that. So it's cool that they get representation. But oh no, it's not Halo Chief, and it's not Crash Bandicoot. You're not gonna get that. Stop thinking, okay, we got all these cool third parties. That means we're gonna get Master Chief and Doom Guy. Don't expect third-party characters, and don't predict third-party characters, because you're not gonna get them most of the time. And if you do, you're gonna not get the one you want. Whatever the one you want, you're not gonna get. Because there's so much, I don't know. To me, I think it'd be cooler if, I don't know. Seeing Sephiroth in Smash was pretty cool, and Banjo, obviously. But outside of that, seeing third-party characters in Smash doesn't really do it for me anymore. I don't know why. I think it'd be cool if they did some more, like, obscure second-party Nintendo characters. I think that'd be pretty cool. Mostly because it would make Twitter upset that they got some fucking WarioWare character in Smash Bros. And we are just flying through stuff, because, boom, Life is Strange coming to the Switch. Pretty cool. A new Worms game. Looks kind of bad. Whatever. Cool. New RPG. Looks like a mobile game. Boom. Pass. And, like, that's 6... We've been through 6 announcements so far. And most of them I'm not that interested in. But still... but that's, like, barely any of the direct. The pacing in this one's amazing. It's just... like that. Next up, I gotta scroll down. A Super Monkey Ball Collection. That's so cool. I really like the original Monkey Ball games for the GameCube. That's dope. New Mario Party. Mario Party Superstars. Hopefully, this isn't like Mario All-Star, or Mario Party what's the crappy one for 3DS called? 5 boards from the N64 games. 100 mini games from the N64 games. This should be good, because I love the mini games, and I love the extra content of Super Mario Party. It's just the boards were garbage. So hopefully this will just be this is definitely gonna be a step up for Mario Party. I don't know how big of a step up, but it feels like it could be the game that gets the franchise back on track. And then boom, Metroid 5. What? Metroid 5 Dread. What? Huh? That's so cool. It looks like there's this little robot alien guy chasing you throughout the whole game. That's a really cool idea. It looks so great. The only thing I'm worried about is that since Fusion, or Zero Mission, whichever one was the last one, 19 years ago. The Metroidvania genre has, like, moved on rapidly. Like, it's no longer the Metroid and Castlevania genre, it's the Hollow Knight and the Ori genre and the Action Verge. It's all this stuff that's pushing the boundaries and with great new gameplay mechanics and amazing art styles. And I'm kind of interested to see how Nintendo responds to the boom of excellent Metroidvania games and how Metroid Dread can stand up to them. How will we compare that to the Hollow Knight, which is like the holy grail of Metroidvania games, in my opinion. So that's pretty. We get a montage of new ports coming up, including DBZ Kakarot, which I for some reason do not own, but I definitely will. Probably on PS4 or Xbox. Another look at Mario Golf, and this game looks so good. The problem with Mario Tennis Aces was the lack of modes outside of standard tennis and a bland story mode, but this game has speed golf and battle golf, which still keep the core gameplay, but expand upon it in fun little ways. And a better story mode, just because you can increase stats and stuff. And I think Mario Golf has a lot more potential than Mario Tennis. I don't know. Because you can change up the courts in fun little ways. Mario Tennis Aces was pretty good at that. But with a golf, you have the entire, field to work with. Yeah, I'm sorry, I mentioned my nose a lot. Jesus. It's itchy. Next up is a new WarioWare's coming out. We've kind of known about this since they put out that survey asking, hey, would you be cool with a $50 WarioWare game? And it's adding co-op. And also, you can play as different characters in each minigame, and depending on what character you choose, you will solve the minigame differently, which adds a lot of replay value. Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks like it will give RPG fans what they want, and this looks interesting, but I'm not jumping out my boots to play. I'm not a big RPG guy, so I don't know, I might skip this one out, but still looks like a good game. Danganronpa sure does look like a panda game. Still have no idea what this is about. A Fatal Frame port is super cool. I just like the idea of Nintendo supporting a horror franchise, which they never do. I might have to check this one out. Strange Brigade looks like a rough-looking 3D third-person shooter with a bad shooting game, or just a bad indie game, is always shown off at every Nintendo Direct. But then we pick it back up with Advance Wars. Again, it feels like Nintendo has like a hat of like a bunch of random second-tier franchises that they haven't done anything with in a while, and they're just pulling names out. Like, new WarioWare? Sure. New Mario Party? Fuck it. Metroid? Go ahead. Advance Wars? What? Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, a remake of those games looks good. I'ma get it. And finally, we move on to Zelda. Age of Calamity shows off some cool new content. I probably won't check this one out and check the expansion pack out, though I already put in my 50 hours. I'm kind of done with the game. A new Zelda-themed Game & Watch, which is really cool. And I guess I'm collecting these now, because I got the first. I have to get the Zelda one. And also, it's cool that they include Link's Awakening, because I don't think there's too many ways to play that nowadays. There's on the Wii Virtual Console, but it's not on Switch, so. Well, the remake is, but it's not on Switch, like the original, which the first two Zelda games are. So that's pretty cool. And then we see some Skyward Sword, getting a reminder that's coming out, but who cares, because Breath of the Wild 2. I wish they showed off just a little bit more gameplay. Coming out 22, I'm perfectly okay with that. But this is the big E3 thing. Opens up with Link gliding down and adding, because we knew it was going to have the same basic map as Breath of the Wild 1. And you can go, and instead of, maybe they'll make changes to the map. I think they might still do that. But instead, they're just adding a bunch of crap in the skies with sky stuff. And it looks like we got, there's a bit where Link, like, phases through and up the ground, which that seems like a new that seems like it works the same way as the I'm blanking, the spirits, like the elephant spirit, the camel spirit, you know, the shield and the healing thing and the flying thing. It looks like it works a lot. Oh no, it actually looks like it works a lot more like the wounds. So I don't know. I'm just stupid. New enemy. Don't really know too much about that. A stone guy picks up an entire bokoblin fort, which I thought was cute. Zelda falls down a valley, which seems like we won't be playing as Zelda. I feel like I predict we're gonna play as Zelda for every new Zelda game that comes out. But it never happens. I don't know why people keep... Because it would be really cool if that's why they keep on predicting it, but... Whatever. So, Nintendo wins E3. Overall, I don't get why people are saying, oh, E3 just wasn't good. What did you want to see? Genuinely, like... Out of all the heavy-hitting developers, like... The only stuff I can think of us not getting is like Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 5 or 4, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I guess more Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Like, what more did you want? I listed, I think, 40 games. Or hold, let me pull up the official number. Where the fuck is it? How many games did I list? I'd probably just go back and count it, and it'll take me less time. It was a lot of games, okay? I really enjoyed E3 this year. But tell me what you thought about in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later. Probably gonna upload this on Thursday, because I'm kind of tired. Blop!